Hello, dreamers. This is Marco of Dreaming in Fashion. Welcome to another week of this podcast where we discuss all things fashions. So, this will be a shorter episode this week, but what we will do, we'll dive right in. So, to start things off, let's start with Puma. Puma is debuting a Nipsey Hussle collection, and basically the collection is debuting today, and it's the Marathon clothing collection. It's going to be a 19-piece collection, which includes the brand signature tracksuit. It was designed by Nipsey in full before his passing. And just so you guys know that 100% of the proceeds will go to his neighborhood and the Nip Foundation. So it drops in stores today and online. So make sure you guys are purchasing and supporting so that some of those proceeds can go to that foundation. So speaking of menswear trends and different things like that, there's a new menswear trend that's going around in Hollywood, so they say. Jaden Smith has this headscarf that he wears according to Vogue. So he wore this scarf wrapped around his head in a style of an elderly Russian woman named the babushka look. So it has now been seen on everyone from Frank Ocean to Marc Jacob. But who was the first person to do this trend was actually A$AP Rocky, who wore the Gucci silk scarf to a Los Angeles benefit dinner last November. And also, he recently devoted like a whole entire track to this unassuming accessory. The appropriately titled track is called The Babushka Boy. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird, like this look and this trend. It's like it's like those things like whenever you go to the dentist and you get your wisdom teeth pulled out. So basically it's like a head wrap around your entire head and the only thing you see is your face. Right? It looks really weird, okay? It looks, I don't know. That's, for me, that's like not one of the trends that I would rock personally. I don't know. It's just a weird trend. You know, how, like I said, Hollywood. So next up on my list here is Ariana Grande. So this is very important that I'm going to mention Forever 21 in this, just in this particular, topic with Ariana, because she's suing them for $10 million. Now, I spoke with you guys last week about how Forever 21 copies and they just knock off all of these latest designers and their designs, and they're always being sued by different people and different things like that. And that's one of the reasons why they're probably filing for bankruptcy too. That's part of the reason. That's not the full reason, allegedly. So the Grammy Award winning singer Ariana Grande is suing the Los Angeles-based clothing company Forever 21 and its sister store Raleigh Rose for $10 million, claiming that the defendants have reportedly and willfully used her name, her image, her likeness, and her music without authorization to generate renewed interest in their brands and social media platforms to elicit sales of their products. Now, that's funny to me because, like I said last week, Forever 21 is having a hard time to making sales. They have really became like the uncool brand. They lost their coolness. So I'm not surprised. Forever 21, like I said, they're always knocking people off and different things like that. But just in hindsight here, Forever 21 has fired back at Ariana Grande. And basically they said that in Ariana's, maybe in her dressing room or wherever she shoots her videos or somewhere like that, just in general, she has like a mood board or a theme board with different or let's say various artists on them, like Beyonce, Rihanna, Ciara, and they're using those themes of those particular artists for her as well. So it's like one of those things like Forever 21 is like, hey, don't throw stones from your glass house, because we may just throw one right back. It's basically like they're saying that, hey, we see you do like, I ain't gonna say cultural appropriation, but you do artist appropriation too. So don't hit us with this lawsuit because you're feeling some type of way. I just think that Forever 21, like I said, they've been doing this for years for different designers. If you Google it, I'm sure you'll see it. They've had all types of lawsuits, so it's no surprise, and that they're going bankrupt. I'm on Team Ariana. That's just my thoughts. I'm on Team Ariana, and I hope that she gets her money for them using all of her faces, pictures, and just all of that type of stuff that's appropriated with her for their particular campaign without her permission. I'm on her side. All right, next up on my list that we're going to talk about is Lupita Nyong'o and Vanity Fair. So Lupita is on this coverage, or she's slaying. She's giving life. Let's just say that. More importantly, within the particular article, she just speaks about where she get her sense of style from, and where it comes from. And she basically said it comes from her mom and her aunts. She says she saw them as elegant women. Well, she says that she always saw them as elegant women, and that's where her style comes from. I have always loved Lupita ever since 12 Years a Slave. Also from the movie Us, Black Panther. The list goes on and on. It's just I just like her style. She represents for us dark skinned people, and I love it. I love it a whole lot. Now, just some more important details within the article that I did not know was that she was born in Mexico City and she studied Spanish there. I thought that was like amazing. I'm like, this lady is really smart. She has all these different degrees and stuff. Now, I'm not going to try to name all these different schools that she went to and name these different degrees, but I do know that she studied African American studies at one point in time as well. Now, I just thought that Lupita just kind of popped up out of nowhere. I didn't know like a backstory of her, but it was really interesting reading that article and just like hearing her backstory. Maybe I didn't follow her as much as I needed to, being a fan, but it was interesting to hear like some of her story and where she came from. And she also spoke about having to share her father with other people because he was a politician, and basically she just said that she had to share her growing up, she had to share her father with more than just one person. It was just a thing for her. All right, next up on my list, my girl here, who was also on the cover of a magazine, Lizzo, on the cover of Elle. So Lizzo is on the cover of Elle. Recently she just had a #1 hit for the song Truth Hurts, which I love. That song is so dope. She basically just said that if I'm shining, everybody's gonna shine. She exhausted just on her inescapable hits like Juice. She just said basically that the way that women in the music industry right now are just working to lift each other up and to collaborate rather than to compete. It's 2019, and she said that feuds are passe, beefs between artists are boring. Instead, she said strength and solidarity are essential to winning a multi-billion-dollar industry where men are disproportionately in charge. Now, here's my take on that. I think that's more than just one particular industry. That's in corporate America. That's just across the board. I think that we do need more, people working in particular industries, whether it be women, LGBT, African American, minorities, just across the board. You know what I mean? So I understand what she's saying. We have bigger issues to be feuding about than just to be feuding with each other, as women. Now, to bring that up here, I just recently heard about I'll take that back, Azealia Banks, who had something she felt like Lizzo was making a fool of herself as a black woman. She's exploiting herself. She's like, oh, why is she, a heavy-set woman in a bikini, and she's gyrating all over the stage, and she's doing all that, and then she tried to compare Lizzo to Jasmine Sullivan, and she made this whole reference to Adele. You have to go and find the actual comments that she posted. And I think it's on Instagram, but I found it on like Twitter or something like that. I just did a Google search and it came up from someone's Twitter post. Here's what I'll say about Azealia Banks. Azealia Banks is an amazing artist. I've loved her for a really long time. And my whole thing is, sis, if you have so much to say about all of these women, who's doing their thing, Cardi, Nicki, all these other people that you feuded with, why isn't that you are not showing what you have and what you can bring to the table? That's what we want to see. Not this whole argument of you trying to tear down another artist or put yourself or ride the wave of someone else's success like you've done in the past many times. Azealia is a great artist. We just want to see your work. Can we see your work ethic? We've seen you do it in the past. Bring that back to the forefront. And you trying to tear down another black woman or a black artist in general is not helping the situation. We should be sticking together and working together to uplift other artists. Just in general, especially a female black artist, you should be uplifting them. Well, guys, that is the episode for this week. Sorry that this was such a shorter episode, but just remember to always listen to me on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, YouTube, Google Podcasts. And if you guys also, if you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure that you click that thumbs up button. Make sure that you're subscribing to this channel because I put these podcasts up every week. And if there's anything that you guys would like me to talk about, feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. Also, you can find my emails on my social medias, which I have included several times in the description on the YouTube video. You can find it on the podcast. All right, guys, that is the episode for this week. Thank you for listening and keep dreaming.